Hello friends, how are you? This is Dr. Sri Nagi, Ayurveda and Medicine Doctor and also Isha Hatha Yoga teacher. So today in this video we are going to talk about the most common problem, that is neck pain, cervical spondylosis, or in Ayurveda it is called Griva Stambh. Or let's try to understand what is an Ayurveda point of view about cervical spondylosis, and if somebody has cervical spondylosis, how Ayurveda deal with these situations and what are the do's and don'ts that we can do and adopt in our life so that we will not land into this cervical spondylosis problem or cervical pain or neck pain problem. Cervical spondylosis is not something that disease has just emerged these days, and earlier days people were not dealing with cervical spondylosis. This is not true. Cervical spondylosis were also present at that time many years back, around 5000 years back, and people were living with cervical spondylosis in Ayurveda because they have mentioned a disease called Griva Stambh, whose symptoms are very much similar to cervical spondylosis. So let's try to understand what is Ayurveda aspect of cervical spondylosis and how it can help you. These days our lifestyle is like this. Most of the times we are sitting just in front of laptops, computers, palm tops, mobiles, in our screens. If we are not doing some kind of work online, we are watching some movie, we are watching some YouTube channel, we are chatting with our friends on Facebook, we are chatting with the family people on Facebook. Sometimes like most of the time it looks like whole of the relationship are more on Facebook or online media rather than in practical real world. So that's why these days this cervical problem is the most common problem that people are getting. But the good thing is they can prevent it by doing certain simple things. So before we see the Ayurveda aspect of cervical spondylosis or Griva Stambh, let's try to understand what is this actual disease, what happens in this disease. Most of the times it's been seen that it is a degenerative disorder which has been mostly seen in elderly people. But nowadays, because our lifestyle has become like this, like we are all the time on screen, so this disease has started happening in now middle age, especially once you cross 30, most of the people are starting feeling these symptoms like cervical pain, neck stiffness, and restricted movement of the neck. So it's very common these days. That's why it has become extremely important that we start paying attention for the care for our neck so that we will not land into neck problems. Let's first try to understand what is this cervical spondylosis terminology mean. It means there is a degeneration related osteoarthritis of the spine which start happening, and ultimately it start causing pain in your neck region, and many times this pain also radiate to either your left arm or towards your right arm. So this is the most common primitive symptom that we see in very early start of cervical spondylosis problem. Here starts some ossification of the posterior longitudinal ligament that also cause cervical spondylosis or neck pain, and it is mostly age related disease because of lack of some exercise, because people don't find time for any exercise. Eventually these ligaments start becoming rigid and it start causing pain. So let's see what Ayurveda has to say about cervical spondylosis or Griva Stambh. Griva means this area, our neck region, this area. This is known as Griva in Ayurveda. That is the Sanskrit word for your neck in Ayurveda, and Stambh means pillar. So your neck will become like a pillar, means it becomes like just stiff. You are not able to move your neck towards this side or this side. So that's why this disease is known as Griva Stambh in Ayurveda, and its symptoms are very much similar to cervical spondylosis. In Ayurveda, this Griva Stambh or the stiffness of this neck is explained as it happens in this area because of Vata imbalance. Because the Vata got imbalance, and we know the whenever Vata got imbalance, the main feature that disease has happened because of Vata is pain. So this area becomes stiff because of aggravation of Vata. As we know, Vata has also a property of dryness. It also causes degeneration, because as our age advances, as we start going older and older, it's a natural tendency of the body that Vata in our body start increasing, which causes degeneration in the body, because it's a natural process. It is not like we can do something about it, but definitely we can delay it by using Ayurveda and yoga. How you can recognize it, maybe it is Griva's thumb or cervical spondylosis, is because of two reasons. Whenever you flex your neck like this, like whenever you look down, your neck pain, whenever you take your neck back, then again your neck feels pain, mild pain, but you will start feeling pain. That is the main symptom of Griva's thumb. But if there is advanced stages of cervical spondylosis, it can also called vertigo, in which a person feel like dizzy, and sometimes he faint also, all the time his head is moving. So this is also one of the symptoms that is related with cervical spondylosis, but it is in advanced stage. This kind of symptom do not come in the very beginning, but if you ignore the very previous symptoms of this cervical spondylosis disease, then maybe these kind of symptoms will also start developing. That's why whenever you feel there is stiffness in the neck or there is pain in this movement of your neck, it is high time that you start taking precautions so that you don't land up into any acute stage or any complication of cervical spondylosis. Because it is, if it is in very initial stages, it can be reversed. It can be bring into normal health, but just you need to take some precautions and some preventive measures. Sometimes it also has been seen like there is a inflammation in the neck area little bit, not too much, but little bit inflammation also comes, and sometimes there is very coarse crepitations kind of sound, like tuck tuck sounds also, these kind of sounds comes. That also happens not in all cervical spondylosis or Griva's thumb cases, but in some cases it also happens. That shows like there is a imbalance of Vata dosha.